Hello and welcome to Evessio tutorials. Today we'll cover how to create custom reports. All of the standard system reports can be found under Event and Data, where you can explore them. These system reports contain as much information as we have about the particular topic, for example, the nominations or the table bookings. But there may be times where there's specific types of information that you want to display in a report, in which case you can create a custom report. There are two places you can make a custom report. One is within the event itself, or you can create custom reports in Events HQ, which cover multiple event groups. To get started, I'm going to click on the Custom Reports tab, and I'll click Add New Custom Report. The report will start with a name and a download name, which it must have the report date and the report time, and optionally the report name. If you want to add anything in addition, you can do. You can also add a description for the report, and it's always a good idea to do this so that your colleagues or anyone coming behind you can see what the purpose of this report is. In terms of types of reports, we have 4 options. We can have a report which is about the transactions, which is going to give you the figures and product types and those kinds of things. We have a product report, so that would be if it's a report that you want to run specifically about table bookings and the form fields that have been filled in, or event attendance products, or any other product type. We can create a custom report based on the responses to our web forms. So that could be things like the contact us forms you might set up, or sign up for our newsletter, or any of these kinds of miscellaneous forms. And the preferences option is for a very specific scenario that I'm not going to go into in this particular video. So first we'll select the type. Now, if I select product, I can have a report that reflects multiple different types of products. So if I wanted to create a report that is about table bookings, for example, I would select table bookings from the drop-down and click Add. If I also wanted this report to cover nominations, I would also select Awards Nominations from the drop-down and click Add. This is the only difference between a product report, where I can then choose if each of the product types should be on a separate sheet or just one, and the transaction report. For the transaction report, you're not going to select different product types. This is going to cover all product types and all transactions. Regardless of which report type you select, we then are going to pick the fields that we require. And if I click the little drop down here, you'll see various different options. The first option is custom fields, and these will have been added potentially to your event to reflect certain things. It is also entirely possible that your event won't have any custom fields. You then have common information, and this is information about the event itself, usually pulled from the event settings. So this is where, for example, you might want to put the event name as a column. You maybe want to put the event start date on there, and any of the other fields that you can see listed here. Then we have invoice information, and this is where you're going to add any fields that you have collected on the invoice form. So I'm going to go with VAT number. I'm going to put first name on there and last name. Then I have personal information. This will only be relevant for those who are using the personal information step in their checkout flow. Then we have product fields. So this is information about the products themselves. You can see things here like the product item that has been purchased or the product type and some of the values associated with the products. We then have transaction fields where we can see information like amount paid, the company, things like the dates of the original invoice, any discounts that have been applied. So again, I'm just selecting the fields that I require. And lastly, we have any fields collected on the preferences form. And this is a form that a small number of events use and may not be relevant for your event. Once you've added all the columns that you require, you can rename any columns you wish if you maybe use slightly different language to the language we use here at Evessio, just by clicking on the name and changing the name of the column. If you give two columns the same name, those columns will be amalgamated into one, and this can be useful if there's been a little bit of a lack of consistency in some of the fields that have been requested on different forms. You can also drag and drop the columns into the order you would like them to be in. Once you do this, you'll save the report. And from here, we can view it and export the report into an Excel spreadsheet. If you have a look at your report and it's not quite what you wanted, you can click on the name of the report to go back in and make some changes. So that's creating a custom report on a per event basis. And just to note that custom reports do not copy over. So if you clone an event, the custom report is not going to copy over. As I mentioned earlier, you can also create custom reports in Events HQ if you're a super user. To do this, you simply hover over your name in the top right-hand corner and visit Events HQ. Here you'll see a tab for reports, and we can add a new custom report. The first section is the exact same as at creating a custom report within an event. Then it differs slightly. You can run a custom report that includes information from all event groups on your account. And whether this is relevant depends on whether you have multiple different events on Evessio or maybe you just have one. Alternatively, you can run a report on a selection of event groups, in which case you simply click in the box here and choose which event groups you would like to report on. You can also select the status of the events that you wish to include. So you could include only those which are published, or you could also include archived events. From here, as with the custom reports within the event, it's as simple as selecting what fields you require and ordering them as you wish. You can then save that report and it will be visible on the list where you can view it or edit it in the same way. In addition to this, if an event is created in Events HQ, you can schedule that event to be exported on a schedule, rather than having to come in and export it yourself. To do this, you'll go to Scheduled Exports, and we're going to add a new scheduled export. The export starts with a name. There'll then be an export name, which has various optional variables here, but the default is report name, report run date, and report run time. You should then select the report source. So this is the report that you want to export. You'll also select what the status of the schedule should be, if it should be active, or maybe if you don't require the report for the next few months, you might want to disable the report schedule and activate it at a later date. You can also choose to export the associated paperwork. Then select if you would like to include certain transaction statuses. So what's here is the default, but you'll notice there are some that are not usually included, and you can select those if you wish. You can also choose to include zero cost transactions, test transactions, and whether you would like to link the IDs so that when you click on it, you'll be able to come straight into Evessio and view the transaction. Then we need to configure the schedule, and we do this by selecting the country and the time zone we require. You can then select a predefined template, so daily, weekly on a Monday, quarterly, or annually, or we can go custom. So we have the frequency, the range of data that should be included. So should it be the last day's worth of data, the last week, the last month, etc. When the report should run, so should that be 12:30 at night? Should that be 1 a.m.? And what data should be included? So up to midnight the previous day. So if I run the report at 1 a.m., should the report data be up until midnight? Or should it be right up to the report run time? Once you set your schedule, you'll then see a preview of the next 5 runs, and that will then give you an idea if you have set up the export as you had wished. Then you need to set up the destination for the report. So most commonly that will be an email, where you simply put in the recipients in a comma separated list and select the email that they're going to receive. Optionally, you can configure an FTP or an SFTP. Once you're happy with your schedule, you'll click Save, and that will be an action then to export that report to anyone who you have included. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, please get in touch at support@evessio.com. Thank you.